Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to your first lesson. Okay, so in your IMJs, remember that we wrote down place value. So we're going to that first topic. We should have place value at the top. As you can see, I already have my notes down, but don't worry. We will go step by step with you. But in the end, I guess I can show you. This is what your journal should look like. All your note taking is right here. So when you come to class, you're ready. Alright, so the first thing I want you to do is, as you can see on the board, I have the word value. What I want you to do is inside your journal, I want you to take about a minute to define what you think that word means. What am I talking about when I say value? I'm going to give you about a minute and begin. Okay. When I'm looking at the word value, what sticks out to me is, what is it worth? So if I'm looking at, as you know, our topic is place value. So if I'm looking at each place of the number, what is that number worth? So if I'm seeing 8, what is that 8 telling me in terms of a place value chart? Okay, so what I want you to do is underline the 3 right here. And we're going to draw a place value chart. For room's sake, I'm going to abbreviate my place value chart. But I have ones, tens, hundred, thousands. I have 4 numbers up here. I should have 4 place values right here on the bottom. So far, so good. I'm going to switch colors. I do not mind if you write in a colored pencil or even colored pens. I just prefer you to not write in markers, because you'll see that it'll run through your journal, and when it's time to go to the next page, the back page, you won't be able to read what's going on because your marker would have leaked through. If you want a color code, I do not have a problem with that. Just try to make sure that you don't use markers. Okay, so if I'm looking at this number, I'm going to plug it right into the place value chart. 8 is in the ones place, 1 is in the tens place, 3 is in the hundreds place, and 5 is in the thousands place. The one I underlined is the 3, so I'm going to underline it here too. So that tells me I'm trying to find the value of this 3. I know it's not just 3, because 3 is just one single digit, and I know that belongs in the ones place. So the value is not 3. What I'm then going to do, let's switch colors, is I'm going to turn everything else besides that underlined number into zeros. Everything else becomes a 0. And it kind of makes it a little bit clearer already as to what the value of that 3 is. If I look at this number right here, remember that if there is a 0 in front of a number, that does not affect the value of your number. 0 does not have any value. So what is it worth? What is 0 worth? It's not worth anything. So when I'm looking at this, I can say that the value of the 3 is, if I cover that up, 300. Another thing you can do is you can look up. If my 3 is here, I'm going to look up, and it's in the hundreds place. So the value of 3 in 5,318 is, and what is the value? 300. That was a little slanted. The value of 3 in 5,318 is 300. Now you guys don't erase, but I'm going to erase so I can have some more room to write. Remember, you can pause every video, you can rewind. This is for you as a resource. So that's the good thing about having it on YouTube. In class, I might have to go on to the next thing and you might still have a question. Here, stop, rewind it, and if you still have a question after you watch it again, write it down in your journal, and then that will be your first discussion question in class tomorrow. Okay, so we're still going to use our friend 5,318. And when you're reading off the word like that, what you're actually doing is you're saying the word form. So the first thing we're going to mess around with is word form. Word form is when you write down what you're saying when you say this number. Except when you write it down, you're not going to write down the number. You're going to write down the words, hence word form. So the word form for 5,318 would look like this. 5,000. THOUSAND. If you want, you can put the commas. If it helps you remember where the comma goes in the standard form, that's fine. 5,000, comma, 3, THREE, 100, HUNDRED, 18, EIGHTEEN. That is the word form. The second form is given to you already. You might have heard me say it, but when you are looking at the number just like this, they have given you the standard, STANDARD. They've given you the standard form. That's the way we see it. That's the way we read it. That is the standard form. The last form is something called, I'm writing on the red. Expanded, EXPANDED, expanded form. Now, in expanded form, think about what the word expanded means. Expand. When you're expanding something, it's growing. It's getting bigger. You're stretching it out. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this number and we're going to stretch it all the way out. Your best friend for this topic today is a place value chart. So if you need something to help you, draw a place value chart. Tens and ones. Plug in your number, 5,318. And what happens, I'm going to draw long sticks on here because it's going to get a little bit longer. So what's going to happen is we're going to take each number individually. Start at the largest number you have. So you're going to start on the left. You're going to take one number at a time. So I'm starting with my 5. I'm going to put my 5 down here again. Everything else becomes a 0. That's the first number I'm going to write in expanded form. 5,000. After you write 5,000, you're going to put a plus sign. You go on to the next number. We're done with the 5. I'm on to the 3. Everything else becomes a 0. I'm looking at 300, and a way to check yourself is look up. Are you in the hundreds place right now? Yes, you are. So now the next number is 300. Put a plus sign. You're done with the 5. You're done with the 3. You're on to the 1. 1, 0. Are you in the tens place? Yes. Are you left with 10? Yes. You're on the right track. 10. Put a plus sign. You're done with the 5, done with the 3, done with the 1. All you're left with is 8 ones. Bring your 8 down here. And this right here, when I'm looking at it like an addition problem, you have written this number, 5,318, in expanded form. So as a review, 5,318 all together with no plus signs is called standard form. When I'm saying the word, when I'm reading the word and I see my words written down, that is now word form. And then in expanded form, think of expanding something. You're stretching it out. We take that number where it looks simple right here, and we just stretch out each place value. We find the value, there's that word again, we find the value of each number, and we stretch it out. Notice the difference between word form and expanded form. When I get to 18, I know in word form, I can put my 10s and my 1s together to make 18. But in expanded form, I separate them. I give that 10 its own place, and I give the 8 its own place, because each number has its own place value. Everybody okay? If you are stuck or have any questions, and remember, if watching it again does not help, write it down in your notebook, star it, put a star by it. If expanded form is something you want to work on, that's the first station you'll go to in the classroom. Okay. All right. I know that in 4th grade, your place value chart may not have been as big as it's gotten right here in 5th grade. So we're going to review your place value charts. And congratulations, take a deep breath. You are at the end of our first lesson. So reviewing a place value chart. It does not matter to me if you start at the largest place value and work your way to the smallest, or if you start at the smallest and work your way to the largest. As long as you know, and just like you're about to notice, that a place value chart is ongoing. It's unlimited. Just because you stopped in the thousands or the millions place last year, watch how you're about to expand your place value chart. So as long as you don't get stuck at knowing, oh, this is exactly how it looks, it's okay if you go from the left to the right or the right to the left. It does not matter to me. Okay, so I'm going to first go from the smallest place value chart. We know we have ones place. And again, I'm going to abbreviate, but I'll say what that letter represents as we go. You have your ones place. And you have your tens placed. Hundreds. Thousands, I'm going to put a TH. 10,000s, TTH. 100,000, HTH. Millions, 10 millions, TM. 100 millions, HM. Trying to keep it as even as possible. Billions, 10 billion, And I'm going to stop at 100 billion with HB. Now if you want, pause the video, quiz yourself, see if you can go the other direction. Alright, going from the other direction. 100 billions drops down, let me go ahead and put my line, to 10 billion. Drops down to billion. Drops down to 100 million. 10 million, TM. Then drops down to your millions. You're still losing money. You only have 100,000 left. HTH. Then you're left with only 10,000. TTH. Now you only have $1,000. TH. And now you're down to the first three place value sections that you learned. Hundreds, tens, and ones. The reason why I wanted to review this is because your task right now, without my help until tomorrow, I want you to take these two numbers. We're going to start big, and then I'll make it easier and drop to a smaller number. But for each number I show you, you're going to write down in your journal the word form, the standard form, and the expanded form. And if you're careful, one of these I technically give to you. Your first number. 843 billion. 843 billion. 208 million. 732,833. Again, I will read it. 843 billion. 208 million. I almost said thousand. 732,833. If you need to, create a place value chart and plug this number in there to help you with the other two forms. Your next number, 327,676. I told you I would go easy on the second one. Again, I'll write down the task. The task is to give me three things. Standard form, excuse me, the word form, let me write form, F-O-R-M, why am I still going crooked, word form, and expanded. Expanded form. Take a deep breath. You have completed your first lesson. So in your journals, as long as you have written down notes, and if you need to go back, press pause, you will see that everything that I have said, I just wrote down in my journal. So this is a model journal for you. It may look different than yours, but that is okay. Everybody takes notes differently. But you'll see I have my three forms. Word form, standard, expanded. I have my place value charts. That is my best friend. When we're talking about place value, I'm going to draw place value charts to make sure, to check myself. Even as your teacher, I'm going to draw a place value chart to make sure I am correct. I'm very proud of you. Thank you for watching the first video. I will see you guys tomorrow.